Hey everybody, Poker Dad here. What I'm just going to be doing now is I'm going to be looking at a short session I played last night of NL5 Zone. And the great thing about NL5, great thing about Ignition is the following day you can look over all the hands and see everybody's cards and see how everybody's playing. So I'm just going to be going through the hands. A bunch of these hands I'm not even involved in. So, which is kind of fun to be able to see this stuff because obviously when you play zone and you click the fold button, you move on to the next table and you don't even see how everything transpires. So let's just dive in and just take a look, and I'll just do a little play by play so we can kind of see what's happening here. So the under the gun has the ace king, which raises 3.4 big blinds. And the ace 10 here in the button actually decides to shove. Ace 10 offsuit shoves. And of course you get the call there. So, and obviously ace king is going to take it down. By the way, you see that how much rake was taken out here? 9.6 big blinds of rake in that. That's just beside the point. Okay. So let's see. Here we get a raise with ace 2 suited from the cutoff. And we get a call from the small blind from king 8 offsuit. So I think it's interesting to be able to see things things that are happening here. So you have a king 8 offsuit, which obviously is a terrible call from a small blind. It should be a fold, of course. And queen 10 suited follows through here. Now you can make an argument here that queen 10 suited could actually squeeze in this spot here and throw out a 3-bet. Or they could even actually fold here too, but I think they should probably maybe throw out a 3-bet and try and squeeze. So we get a3-3, so we get a check from the king 8, of course, queen 10, and the ace 2 suited decides to throw out a c-bet, which they can do with a backdoor flush draw here. And the king 8 calls with his top pair, and queen 10 folds it up. And now the ace, so we get a check here from the 8, which of course now not the top pair anymore. And we get a fairly small turn bet here from now the top pair of aces. And the 8 is okay with that and decides to then call it, which I think is fine here for him. And now a 3 comes out, and the both of them have full houses. One has ace, one has ace. The ace puts in a fairly small bet of 13.8 big blinds, and the king 8 actually decides to fold it up. So interesting that he decided to fold it up when another 3 came out, but he didn't fold it up here when the ace come out. And this was such a small bet. I'm really kind of surprised he folded here to such a small bet when he called the turn. Not really sure what that was about. And then again, we're talking about a player who called king 8 offsuit from the small blind. So, next up here, let's see. We get from the cutoff, we get a limp with 5-6 suited. And the king queen suited just calls the limp. So here you got two hands here, which could both. This could have been raised, and this could have been raised. So you got two just super passive situations here from both these guys here. And we get a king. So the king decides to lead out the betting. He bets half pot, and the 5-6, of course, is going to fold there. Here we get a 2.2 big blind open raise from a very deep stack player in the under the gun. And everybody folds out. What folded in this hand? Queen 9, 4, 5, Jack King, King Jack, and yeah, okay, I think that's all fine. See, we get a limp here from the 4-4 from the under the gun, and the ace queen, of course, is going to bet into the 4-4, raise it up, and the 4-4 does call, which I think is fine. 4-4 hit the set, which is great for him. So ace queen does check it off out of position, which I think is fine considering this board here is not really going to fit his range as well. And the 4-4 decides to slow play this here and check back, which I don't love. I like to see it better right here. And now the 7 comes out. The ace queen I would hope is going to check back here again. He does. And the 4-4 now finally does decide to bet his set. And ace queen folded up. Here we get a raise from 9-8 in the small blind, which I think is fine, just trying to steal the big blind. And queen 5 defends super wide with a queen 5 offsuit. Don't know how I feel about that. I think this is a pretty easy fold here, but he's a short stack player. Keep that in mind. Let's see, we get 3, 8, 9. So 9-8 is out of position, but has top pair, weak kicker. He does decide to bet into the queen 5, and the queen 5, of course, is going to fold. Here we get an open limp from king 4 offsuit. And we get a check, of course, from 10-3 offsuit. And let's see. So 10-3, of course, is going to check it off here. And king 4 throws out a min bet, which, I mean, he can do. He's got a backdoor flush draw. I mean, he's not thinking about this, obviously. If he was thinking, he wouldn't be playing king 4 offsuit. But, yeah, he does bet in. He's got backdoor flush draw. He's got a backdoor straight draw. And 10-3, of course, is going to fold. Here from the small blind, nothing happens here. Okay. What did I have? This was me in a small blind 7-3. Yeah, of course I'm folding that. Okay. So we get a limp 9-3 offsuit. So he wants to play a 9-3. He's excited to play his 9-3. And 2-5, of course, is going to just check it there. Let's see. We have a backdoor straight draw. But first we got 2-5 here, so 2-5 is going to check, and I'm sure 9-3. 9-3 may bet it here. He also does have a pair of threes, so he's got a backdoor straight draw and a pair of threes. So he's doing much better now at this point. Now we get a pair of twos. So the pair of twos decides to lead out the betting for 2 big blinds, and of course the pair of threes is going to call it. And they both check it, and of course the 9-3 will take it down. Good old 9-3. Ace King. So Ace King decides to shove pre-flop. Ace Queen calls the shove, and King Queen will fold. And of course the Kings should take it down. Next up here, we have 10-9 offsuit. Nope. Nothing happens there. So we get a limp from a 9-9. And King 8 follows through. And of course 9-5 is just going to check. So let's see. A6-6 here. The King 8 is going to check. The 5-9 will check. And the 9-9 will throw out another min bet here. And both will fold, as both didn't connect with the board at all. Here you get King Queen offsuit. King Queen offsuit will bet 3 big blinds, standard, and take it down. King Queen will raise up 3.4 big blinds. I mean, Queen Jack suited, and everybody else folds. Here we get a raise from the cutoff from 4-6 suited, and Ace Jack offsuit decides to call back behind. So 4 big blinds is pretty big. Ace Jack calls the 4 big blind bet. The rest are both are going to go. So let's see here. 4-6, who has a gut shot here, decides to check the gut shot, and Ace Jack, of course, will check behind, not hitting this board at all. And now we get a 7. So now he has a gut shot and an open ender. So he does finally decide to bet here, and Ace Jack, of course, will fold, not connecting to this board at all. Okay. Here, Ace 9 offsuit is going to bet in the small blind, which I think is perfectly fine. And of course, ace 3 will fold there. We get a limp from queen 9 in the small blind, and king 9, which is me. Of course, I'm just going to check it. So we get ace a6, so we get a check from queen 9, and my king 9 I'm going to check behind, of course. Now the queen 9 has top pair, so queen 9 min bets, and I'm going to fold as I do not connect to this board at all at this point. Next up, ace 5 does a 2 big blind bet from under the gun. We get a call from a 6-9, so suited cards, the 3-4 will fold, 9-8 and all that will fold. So we got two sets of suited cards, and we get the diamond flush draw out there, and the other player has a pair of sixes. And let's see what happens here. So the diamond flush draw, the nut flush draw, bets out, very small, almost like a min bet. And the 6-9 is going to call his pair of sixes. And here now the ace 5 is going to bet 25%, about half pot. And the 6-9, not scared of the ace, not scared of the 10, is going to call this turn bet, while now we have a pair of aces and a flush draw for villain number 6. And the queen comes out, and we get a very small 5 big blind bet from the pair of aces. And I guess the 6 thinks that he won this hand, despite the fact that we have a queen, an ace, and a 10 out there. The 6, not scared. Folks, bet for value. Bet for value. Jack 3 suited from the button, 2 big blinds. And we get a call from the 4-4, of course. Jack 3 gets his flush draw plus bottom pair with a terrible kicker. So we get a check, and he puts in a 3/4 pot bet, and 4-4 folds it up wisely. 3-3 bumps it up 2.5 big blinds. Queen 2 will fold. This is me. I bump it up 3 big blinds with ace 10, and king 6 in the small blind decides to raise me very small, and I of course am going to call a small bet like that, and he gets his top pair, so he checks it, and I check behind. I could have definitely c-bet here with a backdoor straight draw and a backdoor flush draw, but I decided to check behind. And a 5 hits now, and now he leads out for 3 big blinds, and I'm definitely going to fold there. Although, as you can see, if I would have done that, he definitely would have called me with his king. But if he would then, if he called me with the king, I would not have bet again in this hand unless I hit an ace on the river. Here ace jack offsuit, 2.4 big blinds from the under the gun, and I am in the big blind. I raise him up 7.6 big blinds, and he folds it. Here we get a limp from ace king suited, and ace jack and ace jack from the button follows through. 4-5, he doesn't care, he's playing. And of course 9-4, so we got a 4-way pot. So we get a check from the 4-5, we get a check from the 9-4. The The ace king decides to check behind with top pair, top kicker, and ace jack will check. And we get a check from the 4-5. We get a check from the 9-4, and finally, ace king puts out a bet there, and everybody will fold. Here in the middle position, we get ace 10 offsuit, and 9-9 will 3-bet will 3-bet there. I don't like that. I think that's just a simple call. I don't think you should be 3-betting the spot. And these guys fold, and the ace 10 will call, which I also do not like. The ace 10 calling a 3-bet out of position. And ace 10 here, so he has a backdoor straight draw. He leads out, which I really don't like. I don't see why you're leading out to the player who just 3-bet you when you don't have anything. Doesn't really make much sense, especially such a small bet. I don't know what that's trying to accomplish. And 9-9 will call. And now he has top pair. And now that he has top pair, he decides to check it. Okay. And the 9-9 will just put out a min bet, which top pair will call the min bet. If you're watching this and you're like, what the hell are these people doing? Is this really poker or just a bunch of people clicking buttons? It really feels like it, right? And now top pair. So this guy, oh my god. So this guy on the flop bets 5 big blinds. Then he check calls 1 big blind. And now he check and hey, what am I doing wrong? I'm losing to the crazy thing is I'm losing to these people. I'm losing to these people. How am I losing to these people? All right, next up. Right? I mean, come on. Look at how this guy's playing. All right, fold. What was that? King 10 folds from under the gun. I think that's perfectly fine. 6-6 limps, and of course King 7 is going to call. I see no purpose. I don't know why people limp here. Why would you limp? It makes no sense. First of all, limping makes no sense to begin with, but especially here in this spot, why would you limp when you could just steal this? This guy, he wins the pot right there. Now he just gives this guy an opportunity to win. Anyway, he decides to lead out, and of course King 7 will fold. All he did was pay more rake there, I think. Ace 9 is going to limp here. Ace 9 suited. So as you can see, decent hands. Sometimes you get decent hands actually limping. 2-8, A2 offsuit decides to call, because why not? And ace 9 suited here decides to put out a 4 big blind bet, which of course ace 9 is going to call. And A2 decides, yeah, finally, I don't really feel like playing anymore. Thank God for A2. And obviously we have, oh, well, you know, we do have backdoor flush draw for him, and we have the nut flush draw for him. So backdoor nut flush draw is going to bet into him as the raiser, and nut flush draw is going to call it. And now they both, the race for the nut flush, we get 8.8 and 8.8 big blind calls, and villain 2 is the winner of the nut flush game. So he checks. Let's see, he bets 13.8, and of course he's going to fold. That was a pretty cool hand, actually, for 2 ace 9s. Despite the fact that it started off with limping. So 2-2 here is going to raise 2.4 big blinds. Ace 3 will call, which I think is okay. Yeah, I mean, he could raise it too. He could definitely 3-bet it, and you assume those guys will go. So 2-2 checks it off, which is the right play here, and ace 3 checks behind. Ace 3, actually, I think ace 3 could have actually bet here. With the flush draw out there, plus he does have a, obviously he's not blocking any spades, but, you know, the flush draw being out here, this guy checks behind. It's a scary board, monotone board, scary. Even though he does have a spade, and he does have a gut shot, he can just throw out a bet there and possibly get a fold from the 2s. but he doesn't. 4 comes out, 2 checks behind again. Ace 3. Now Ace 3 decides to put it at a bet. So I don't really understand the bet here by Ace 3. 2-2 folds, and I think that's just a mistake because I don't know. I don't think he's checking behind with a 4. The 4 doesn't do anything here. So yeah, I think that folding the 2s there was probably a mistake. But he can do that because he can have a pocket pair higher than 2s, of course. So it's not like you want to just go to showdown with 2s anyway. So, but I don't like this bet. If you're gonna bet, I think you need to bet the flop here. Queen is going to raise the 3 big blinds, and he'll get a call from Ace 3 offsuit in the big blind. I don't like that. Okay, so the 3 pair of 3s checks. Queen bets half pot, and pair of 3s not too nervous at this point. Maybe because he has an ace, maybe because it's a backdoor and a flush draw. I don't know, but he decides to call the pair of 3s. Honestly, it's not bad. You can call that there. You can call one street. I'm getting on it, but you can call that there. Ace 3 you can call. Maybe it's just because of the fact he's playing Ace 3 offsuit that I just can't be like why is he playing Ace 3 offsuit? But yeah, he can call the 3. He doesn't know this guy is queens. We know it. He doesn't know it. All right. He checks again. Queen is going to double barrel him here, and he makes the correct fold. So yeah, actually, it's not bad that he decided to call the 3. You can call the 3 there, but definitely in the double barrel with the jack now coming out, it's the right fold. Jack 8 offsuit, super loose, open, 3.4 big blinds from the under the gun, and we are going to get a call from the 9-9. And these two will play each other heads up here. So the Jack 8's got the backdoor flush draw going for him. Also has a backdoor straight draw. So he does draw out the C bet, which I think is fine. And 9-9, of course, is going to call. And now the 5-5, he should check here. He does. And 9 throws out the bet. And Jack 8 does fold. Pretty straightforward stuff for the most part. Queen under the gun. Ace Jack is going to call it, which I don't like that. I think you need to fold there versus under gun open. But they go heads up here. And Queen is going to definitely bet into. This is a great board for Queen to bet into. Jack decides to throw out a huge raise here. And Queen says, go F yourself. I'm going to re-raise you. And Ace Jack says, I really don't care. I'm just going to go all in with my pair of jacks because this is such a great hand. All right. And we get a 7. And we get an ace. And Ace Jack wins it. Terrible play. But he pulls it down anyway. And Queen is now tilted. There's no other way around it. Let's see. Ace Jack here is going to bet. That's fine. And Ace 10 is going to call in the big blind, which I think is okay here. Okay, so we're going to get a check, and we'll get a C bet here on a backdoor nut flush draw, backdoor nut straight draw, and we're going to get a call from backdoor flush draw, backdoor straight, couple backdoor, couple backdoor straight draws for the ace 10. Also, same thing for the ace jack too. So there's a lot of things that can happen here. The 4 is not helpful to anybody, so we get a check, and the ace jack decides to double barrel here, and ace 10 will fold. So I think this is just a case of, him getting a check in his general direction and deciding to bet it. I think if it were me, I would definitely just check back there. But he bet it. He got the fold. I wouldn't have. Okay, next up. 7-8 limp. And we get a king 7. Okay, so 7-8 limp from under the gun. So these are the hands you hope to see. 7-8 versus king 7. We get check and we get check. And 6 comes out here, so this guy has an open ender now. Check, and the open ender decides to min bet, and queen 7, king 7's out of there. Here we get 3 big blind open from jacks, and that's it. 6-6 from the button will raise it up. Ace-ace, that's me. I will 3-bet him. And 6-6 calls my 3-bet. And so we get 9-3-5 here. I decide to lead into him. And the 6-6 does call the bet. Yeah, okay, I think it's fine. It's that 6-6 called here. You know, he could still get a set, so. I decide to check at this point, not knowing what the hell he's calling with. That's definitely a mistake. I definitely need to double barrel there. I don't like that play. I need to double barrel with my aces. He checks behind. 2 comes out. I decide to bet pot, and he decides to call the bet with his 6s, the third pair. So I don't know what he's doing here, but he paid me, so what do I care? I should have definitely bet the turn. That was a mistake. I got a double barrel there. What am I afraid of? So let's see here. Ace 10, raise it up. We get a call from Jack 8 into small blind. Again, I hate that. If you're going to play the small blind, raise it up in most cases, unless it's like pocket pairs or something like that. You know, most times you want to raise up the small blind with the big blind behind you. King 3 decides to just call it with a suited cards. Suited cards. So Jack 8, he has a backdoor straight draw. That's about all he's got going. A pair of kings decides to check. And a pair of aces, who is the leader here, c-bets. And of course, we're going to get a call from the king. And another king comes out to the ace's dismay. The ace thinks he's in great shape right now. He's going to find out he's not pretty soon, probably. So the kings decide to check it here, which is fine. I think that's fine. And the ace decides to check back. And now the force. Now the king has to bet here, and he does. 13 big blinds into 17. And I'm most certain that the ace will definitely call it. And the ace actually folded it, so good fold by the ace. Realizing that his ace 10 was no good here. Probably realizing that, since he's blocking aces, this guy, could have a chance to have a king. Okay. So we get here a limp. This is like, it makes you sick watching some of this stuff. Some of the things that are going on here. Pair of aces is gonna bet here. I mean, he could definitely check behind, but he decides to bet a min bet, and of course we'll get a fold. I mean, he could have easily just checked behind there. Queen Jack here is going to min raise. Okay, I don't mind that. It's fine. And 7-6 is going to call it because why not? It's only one big blind. Might as well. It's connected hand. He checks it here, and Queen Jack will bet his queens as a c bet, pot size bet, and of course 7-6 will fold. King 7 from the button. I'm going to raise it up, and we get 10-9 calling us from the big blind. Ooh, yuck, yuck, yuck. So 10-9 decides to bet into us, and I fold it, as I do not connect to this board in any way. And when somebody's going to donk out like that, I mean, it's just a pretty easy fold. And there you see, 10-9. There you go. All right. King 8 is going to raise it from the button. King Jack will call it. I think that's fine. And don't like this play here, out of position with second pair. I think this is a check call. He decides to donk bet, and Ace King is definitely going to raise it here. and Jack decides to fold it. That was just a bad donk bet. Wasted 3.6 big blinds. He didn't have to. He would have checked it. This guy would have put out a bet. He could have called it, and then he could go focus on the next street there. Queen 7 here from the button I think is fine. And he'll take it down. Here we get a limp open from the middle position with Jack 5 suited. And he'll face the good old Queen 2 offsuit. And let's see, so we get a pair of jacks here, so we expect him to bet. He does, half pot bet. Queen 2 will go. Here we get a limp into the big blind. And King 6 decides to throw out a bet for no reason at all. Jack 8 will fold. So the good old 6-2 offsuit, small blind, 4 big blind raise. Good for him. Congrats. If I could make that the thumbnail of this video, I absolutely would. 6-2 offsuit, small blind, 4 big blind raise. Oh man. Alright. A7 offsuit. Okay, that's fine from the button. We get a 3-bet from King Queen offsuit, definitely. Definitely the right play. 6-6 will fold, and this guy will fold as well. 6-6 was me, by the way. Yeah, 6-6, I mean, I'm definitely folding to the 3-bet with another guy. I'm going to be out of position. Not versus him, of course, but out of position here if this guy decides to call it, raise it, or anything. I'm not going to waste money there. I think it's the right play. Okay. Queen, Queen. The good old Queen, Queen open limp from the under the gun. And we get, and to follow up the Queen Queen open limp from under the gun, we get the 4-6, the 6-4 offsuit from cutoff raise. And oh boy, guys, so you got that guy here, the Ace King, who's now going to 3-bet this situation. And the Queen Queen goes for the limp all in. 4-6, thank God, folds. And Ace King, of course, is going to call that. 10-10 is going to Queen Queen take down. So yeah, this is one of these situations where you see these guys, they'll limp and they'll limp raise and stuff like that, and limp shove, and yeah, that's like a strategy I think some people use, and it's so sneaky. I hate it, but it's pretty obvious what they're doing when they do it. So it's easy to fold when they do that stuff. Here we get Ace Queen from the cutoff, and I'll just take it down. Eight, that's me from the middle position. And I get a call from King 9 suited. And King 9 suited, of course, is going to check it off. And I am going to check behind here with what would be second pair. Now 3 comes out. King 9 checks again. Here I should definitely throw out a bet. And King 9 folds. So here, Ace King suited from the button, 3.4 big blind bet, and the 10-8 suited, that is me. I decide to call that bet. A little bit loose, I think, on my side. I don't know how I feel about the fact that I called that, but you know, actually, I still have Flopzilla open. The ranges I'm using, so button, I guess that's okay because button's gonna have a super wide range, and I have big blind versus button. 10-8 suited can call there up to a 3.5 big blind bet. So yeah, okay, fine, that's fine. Okay, I check it. He bets half pot, and I decide to call with second pair on the board. 4 comes out. I check again. He double barrels me, and at that point now I'm going to fold since my hand is not improved to that point, and we don't think he's doing that with just an 8. You will say though, you can see though here for the most part, the betting is they're not nobody here is bluffing. I mean, some of them are betting poorly because they're betting like middle pair and low pair, but nobody's bluffing, as you can tell. Very straightforward. So here you have Queen Jack, from the middle position. And king queen is going to 3-bet there for small blind, which is good. And we get a call from queen jack, which is fine. So let's see. They both have backdoor straight draws. Neither one of them have a spade, so this will be interesting to see what they do. King queen checks, and queen jack checks behind. 5 again. Now king queen decides to throw out a bet. I don't know how I feel about this bet here. You don't have anything. You're leading out. You're out of position. I don't think this is a very good bet here. Maybe the only reason that he could bet here is because if his opponent checked behind, he would not believe that a 5 is in his range, that he would call a 5, which could be then be a reason to take it. I guess that could be a reason to take a stab out of the pods, because a 5 is probably not going to hit the range, the 3-bet calling range here, unless he had a set of 5s. And of course the jack queen is going to fold. So yeah, I can see that then leading out, take the pot now, bluff it. If this guy is thinking he might, I think he's going to fold anyway. But yeah, actually, I can see merit. I can see merit to doing that, because the 5 isn't going to hit that guy's range. Now, I don't know if this is what this guy is thinking, but it actually makes a lot of sense. And I got to think about that when I'm playing too. Is if it goes check check and I'm out of position, and the card that hits on the turn, I don't think my opponent has many of those in my range. I could maybe bet with a lot of my hands. See. Okay, we get a 2 big blind raise from king 2. And ace king, of course, is going to 3-bet. Very small 3-bet here. And king 2 says, F you, I'm going to shove it, because I have king 2, damn it. And ace king, of course, is going to call his shove. And this will never work out well for king 2. Ace 6 suited here. We get a limp. And we get a raise, which is the right play from the 7s, and ace 6 will fold. Okay, ace 7 limps, and of course we get the limp behind here. And we get a bet here from a gut shot and back to a nut flush draw. About 2/3 pot bet, and expect the queen 4 to fold. Here we get an open limp with 2-2 from under the gun. And aces will just make it a 3 big blind bet instead of a 4 big blind bet. And we'll get aces versus 2s. And the 2s here decide to check, and the aces should definitely throw out a bet. And it's about a half pot size bet. And the 2s are going to call it. I don't like that. I think the 2s definitely need to fold here at this point. I don't think there's any reason for 2s to be calling. Anything below 2s should be folding at this point. 5s, 4s, or 3s, and of course 2s. Queen comes out now. He checks. Aces are going to bet again, and now finally the 2 folds. So what does this tell you, by the way? Just again, how players are playing. He check calls, and you could think, if you're hand reading him and he calls, you say, okay, well, maybe he has a pocket pair above 7. Maybe he has a 7, and he has 2 pairs. Maybe it's like ace 7. I mean, you're blocking aces, but he could have ace 7. He could have 7-6. Well, he's definitely have 7-6. 7-6, I think, definitely raise, but like he could have 8-7. So I think, yeah, I mean, obviously, no matter what, I think ace ace should definitely bet here again, even out of position. So, but you've seen some things that are calling on the flop, and I think that's why I think it's just a good idea to just bet your best hands, even if you're out of position, and your best bluffs too. But more so your best hands than your bluffs, I think, because I don't know, maybe these guys aren't folding. I don't really know. I don't know what these guys are doing. If you can figure out what these guys are doing, please let me know. I have no idea. Um, so here we get 6-5, 6-5 suit. This is why I hate playing at the micro stakes, because it's like people play just so weird. But it's not like I know anything else. This is all I know. It's not like I play anything higher. The highest I play is NL50. But you know, those plays you play a little bit more standard, I guess. 6-5. We get a call from 4-5 in the button, and ace-5 suited is going to call it as well. Okay. 6-5 passes up on his betting front sixes, and 4-5 with the gut shot decides to bet here from the button, and we do get a call, of course, from the sixes. 8 comes out, and we're gonna get a check again from the sixes, and 4-5 now does decide to check behind because his hand has not really improved. And a 4 comes out now, so we're going to get a check, and we get a bet from the pair of 4s, and the 6 decides to call as well, and he'll take it down. So I think really here the 6-5 probably should just check here. I don't think right at the 6-5. Oh yeah, well, he bet, so obviously the 4 should not be betting there. The 6-5 played it right. 4-5, not so much. Okay, 9-9. We get a raise. Ace-4 offsuit. Oh yeah, this decides to 3-bet. And 9-9, of course, is going to call. I'm just curious, what hands did Ace-4 fold out? Anything good? No, not really. All right. So we get check, and we get a very, very small bet out of the ace-4. And 9-9 is definitely going to call that a bet. I don't blame him. And another king comes out. So we get a check from 9-9, and ace-4 checks behind, which is good. 9-9, 9-9 has to bet here. I mean, come on, 9-9. What are you doing? 9-9? What are you afraid of? And 9-9 completely lost value on this. I mean, not he lost value. I mean, ace-4 is never betting anyway, so what does it matter, right? I mean, I guess you got to bet the river. When he checks, I think you need to definitely bet the river. If he folds, he folds. He may call. He may call with ace high. It's possible. Queen 8, that's me from the small blind. And 8-6 offsuit calls me. And I have got a flush draw. So I'm going to definitely c-bet here. And we'll take it down. 9-9. Ace-Jack suited is going to flat it, which I think is fine versus the under the gun. And let's see, 9-9 decides to lead out here. And Ace-Jack is definitely going to fold here to the lead out bet. I don't like that bet, but okay. Queen 8 offsuit from the cutoff. Very, very loose. Ace-King is going to 3-bet it. And take it down. 4-3 decides to lead in, which is fine. Ace-Ace is going to 3-bet him, and 4-3 decides to call it out of position. I think we can definitely fold 4-3 suited at that point. Let's see. So we get a check, and we get a pretty small bet out of the ace-ace, and 4-3 is definitely going to fold now. Ace-King, it bets into 6-2, and 6-2 folds it. Okay, 8-8. Time is it? Oh, I gotta get to bed. I'll do a couple more of these. Ace-8. It's almost 2 o'clock in the morning. I really should get to bed. 8-8. Tomorrow's Sunday. 8-8 from middle position here. We get a call from 8-8 to me, by the way. We get a call from 3-3, and what folded out here? Ace-5 suited folded out, and which I don't like. Ace-5 should 3-bet there, and 7-9 of course should fold out. But I guess better for me that he didn't do that. I end up with a set here, so I decide to check. I pot it, and my opponent has a set as well, so he's going to definitely call it. And we get a 9 here, so I'm going to pot it again. And my opponent decides to raise me here, and of course I'm going to call it. Take it down. Here we get Ace-10 with a huge bet from under the gun. He shoves all in. We only had 5.6 big blinds left, so we're going to call from Ace-Queen. So Queen-10 comes along too. Why not? Ace-Queen takes it. I make this last hand. Ace-Jack under the gun, raising 3.4, and it takes it. So interesting stuff. I wanted to record this video and post it on YouTube because I'd like to go back and watch it again at some point. Always interesting to see how the players are playing at Ignition. So as you can see, it's very unpredictable. Some of the things they're doing, a lot of them are playing really, really bad. So it makes you wonder why I'm having trouble winning there. I don't know why I'm not winning there when these players are playing so bad. But one thing we do know is that they're calling super wide, but they usually have paired the board in some way when they call, and they don't bluff too often. So, but I think I should still be bluffing, definitely on the flop, because if they didn't hit the board in some way, they're always folding. They're very rarely ever calling draws. So once in a while, but most of the time, if they miss the board, they're folding. So that says I need to be betting more, being a little more aggressive with my bluffs and my good pairs. I'm not going to do that with like middle range pairs, but my good top pairs I need to be betting, and definitely my bluffs, which are my draws, my backdoors, and of course, 4-card bluffs as well. That's what I take from this. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I'm going to go to bed now. I know this is 2 videos in one day for me. I'm probably thinking like, man, you're a crazy man. But I just want to just do a lot of study and get better. So anyway, I'm going to bed. Poker Dad.